This time last year, I was on the verge of like achieving all my goals for 2025. By February, the motivation started to fade. Well, I just kept pushing and pushing, but I was actually getting to the point of being tired. The reason why a motivation fades by February has to do with thinking motivation will sustain us, thinking motivation will last us long. Since motivation is a feeling, is an emotion, and feelings come and go. What you need to do is to change your self-concept, change how you see yourself, because how you see yourself will actually determine how far you are going to go with your goals. Hello, Queens. My name is Titilayo. One day, I'm a fitness and wellness coach, and I help high-achieving women to transform their body and their mind inside and out with ease and balance through mindset coaching, fitness routines, and wellness structure that actually works with your real life so that you can create time and space to actually achieve your goals with ease and balance and move away from the hustle mentality, move away from the pushing, the struggling, the hard work mentality, and return to your natural rhythm, your softness, queen, being who you truly are, your true essence, what God really intends for you. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about why motivation seems to fade by February 6th. This time last year, I was like on the verge of like achieving all my goals for 2025. So I knew what I wanted. And in January, I was pushing hard. I was kind of like doing what I wanted to do for my goals. And I felt like, yes, we were working on, renewed energy and everything was just going to be working out so fine. But by February, the motivation started to fade. And this was when I realized that, oh boy, the motivation I had in January was like actually a borrowed energy from the previous year of being tired of the hustle, of the push, the grinding and everything. And by February, it was fading. Well, I just kept pushing and pushing, but I was actually getting to the point of being tired. At this point, I had this new identity that I wanted to be, but my old identity kept coming back to me. So I was switching in between old identity and new identity. And some days I will act out, I will do what my goals actually requires of me. And on some other days, I would return to my old identity. Sis, I kept switching old, new. And it got to a point where the motivation started to just drain. The motivation that I had, that I worked with in January, faded. And at this point, I was going round and round in circles. Sometimes I would achieve like a little bit or some of my some of my goals, and then I couldn't sustain it. Then I'll be back to square one again. Sis, I was going round and round in circles, and this was because I was mixing the old identity with the new identity. That is why I created the identity framework for you to easily achieve your goal. Because sis, I've been there. I did that last year and I went round and round in circles. It only took me about when I got to like June for me to realize that this is not going to be work. We're achieving our goals the same way we've been achieving it all through the years, through push, grinding, going in between identities. It's not going to work. So that is why I created the identity framework. I actually use the identity framework because the identity framework allows you to fully align with the true identity that you want to be, and then for you to set up the standards, and then that is when you set up the goals. The goals come last, not before those. All right, so let's get back into the video. But sis, download yours. It is free. Start using it now. I'm telling you, this is going to be a game changer in 2026. So when I started going round and round in circles, I realized that it wasn't going to work. And this was when I really had to work on my identity. So let me tell you the first reason why our motivation fades by February. From what I have known, the reason why our motivation fades by February has to do with thinking motivation will sustain us, thinking motivation will last us long. See, motivation is a feeling, is an emotion, and feelings come and go. And if your feelings is not built on a solid ground, you cannot have that feeling every day. A lot of us have this feeling of going hard, of like working on our goals, working on our visions, or doing the things that we really want to do. And this feeling is usually based on our reflective moment from the previous year. We've seen how the previous year ended, and we feel like, I don't want this new year to be like that. So we borrow this energy from December or January or guilt, and we are high on this energy, and then we move, we work so hard, we're excited because we feel like we are going to like achieve our goals. But by February it fades. That motivation cannot last. What you actually need to do, and what I failed to do back then, was that I did not set a system, I did not set standards. It wasn't about goals. I already set my goals. Goals is a direction. A goal gives you like a destination of where you're going to go. But how you're going to get there is what we need to set. A lot of people, when we set a goal, we say, oh, I know how I'm going to get there. I'm going to do A, B, C, D, E, and F, and then I'll get it. Yes, that is part of you setting the system. However, that system and you cannot get there with the same you that you are now, and get there. It's like someone that wants to go on a marathon. You want to your goal. You could have this goal to do the marathon in June, July, or whatever time it is, and you say to yourself, what am I going to do to be able to run this marathon? And you say to yourself, oh, okay, I'm going to train 3 times a week, I'm going to run 4 times a week, or I'm going to like eat this way. And then you start doing it and doing it. But sis, you are going to struggle because you are carrying your old identity, you're carrying your old self to doing something different. Your body and mind is not going to be aligned. So at some point, you are going to struggle. That motivation, the emotion that you had to start would fade. So what you need to do at this point, and what I have now done, is for me to change my standards. I have said to myself, like, this is the goal I want to achieve. Now I say to myself, now, who do I need to be to achieve this goal? So for someone that wants to run the marathon, and they've set the systems that is going to take them there, they now ask themselves, who do I need to be for me to be able to use the system? So it's like a baby trying to use a phone, and the baby does not have the knowledge, the idea, does not have the identity of someone that knows how to use a phone. The baby will not know how to use the phone. The baby will just take the phone, fling it, and then break it, and then, the goal is not achieved. I used a baby. I could have used something else, but anyway, that was what came to my mind. So, sis, you have to change your essence. You have to change your identity. So it's not a matter of just setting the systems. It's a matter of changing your standards. Let's say, for example, I want to lose weight, and I say to myself, okay, by June, I want to lose like 5 kg, or I want to lose 8 kg. So what do I need to do? I need to work out 3 times a week. I need to eat certain foods. Okay. And I start doing it, start working with the system. At some point, we are going to struggle. We are going to, our motivation, the feelings that we had to set that goal is going to be drained, and then we cannot sustain it. What we have forgotten to change is to change who we are. Change your mindset and say, okay, if I want to do this, my old self of the way I used to think, the way I used to act will not take me there. I need to change who I am. So what you need to do at that point is to say, okay, who do I need to be? I need to start acting and being like a fit person. I need to start thinking like a fit person. So the things that you will need to do is so that you don't struggle is you ask yourself on a daily basis, what would a fit person do? Like when it comes to working out or when it comes to avoiding certain types of food, you ask yourself, what would a fit person do? What would someone who has lost all the weight do? If I was that person right now that have lost all the weight, would I eat this type of food? No. And it is easy for your body to follow through. At that point, sis, your body is able to follow through. There is no fighting, there is no struggling. It is just easy flow. For example, my personal example, I've already said that this year is going to be my softest year. And this year, I am naturally going to guide and nurture loads and loads of clients. Those are my goals. And every day when I wake up, I ask myself, what will my softest version of me do in this situation? Would I be driving on urgency mode or would I slow things down and be responsive? And when I think about what my softest person or the softest version of myself would do, I act accordingly. There is no struggle. There is no, my mind is telling me this, my body is telling me this. Everything is just working in alignment. So, sis, this is why it is very important that you download my identity framework because it would really, really help you in upholding your standards so that once your standards are built up, your feelings then follows the standard and motivation doesn't dry like by March or April and you can just keep following on. And also, you need a community to keep you grounded, to keep you accountable, so that when you are in a community of people that actually works together towards their goal, it is also easy for you to follow through because you are surrounded by them. And this is where I want to introduce you to Grow and Train with Me. Grow and Train with Me is my coaching program. It is a container where high achieving women like you and I come together, where we train our bodies externally and we train our bodies and our mind to align with our spirit internally. So there is going to be a lot of mindset coaching to help you achieve your goals with ease and balance, fitness routines, fitness structures that actually fit your lifestyle. You do fitness routines that are soft and gentle, that actually gives you back energy, doesn't drain your energy, that allows you to feel your strength, for you to be strong, for you to feel toned, energized on a daily basis, and wellness strategies that allows you to create time for you, to create time to reflect, to create time to stop working on automated controls, to create time for you to rest, to create time for you to act and be a queen that you truly are, to create time for you to live your softest life. Grow and Train with Me is an empowered coaching container. On a daily basis, you are being accountable. On a daily basis, everything you do is followed through. There is a community of sister on the same level or on different levels, and we are all working together towards our goals. We make it easier for us to achieve our goals. We have moved away from the masculine energy and now work with the feminine energy, which brings our softness more into life because your softness is actually your energy. And when that soft energy lives within you, it rearranges everything externally and you are able to flow and move into your softest life. You are able to enjoy and experience softness, money, prosperity, everything that you want and desire flows to you effortlessly. Sis, if you would like to join my coaching program, you want to click the link in my bio or the description and register. So we are gonna go into the other reasons why motivation fades by February. The second reason why motivation fades by February is that, says, a lot of us start with behavior. Like I said in my first reason, like we thinking, oh, what do I need to do? What do I need to change? So a lot of us, like, we just start by, wanting to change our habits, which is good because it's your habits and your consistency of doing those habits that would actually lead to creating your desired outcome. However, sis, starting with your behavior, trying to change your behavior, it is a very hard one to do because you are going to have to like force and push and grind, and sis, you end up going round and round in circles. So when people start working on their goal, they are so fixated on changing the behavior, and you say to yourself, okay, I'm not gonna eat unhealthy foods anymore. I'm not gonna eat healthy food. I'm not going to be lazy. I'm not gonna be running. I'm gonna be dancing. I'm gonna go for that spin class. And sis, yes, it tends to work temporarily, but after a long term, your old identity, who you actually see yourself to being, comes into place. And then you stop doing the things that you set out to do, because what you did, you used motivation, you used a burning desire but not burning enough to put yourself in place and to change your behavior. But that is not enough. What you actually need to do is to change your self concept, to change how you see yourself, because how you see yourself will actually determine how far you are going to go with your goals. If you desire to live in a 5 bedroom house, and let's say we'll set that as part of our goal. So let's say, let me just put myself as an example. I've set myself as part of my goal to live in a 5 bedroom house. And I say to myself, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to have that 5 bedroom house? And I say to myself, based on my old concept of myself, I would say, oh, I need to work hard. I need to start a side hustle. I need to maybe look for fast ways I can make money. Or maybe I can start trading, or maybe, which is something I did anyway, or maybe I could start, pushing harder, or maybe I could increase the amount of clients that I have. And all of a sudden, I do, push. And then I start saving, I start making a little bit of money, but it's not enough to get me to, actually living or buying that 5 bedroom home. And sis, it is going to be through hard work, through labor. I would have to like forfeit a lot of things in my life to even actually get there. And the journey is never easy. A lot of people achieve their goals this way, but by the time they get there, they're tired, they're exhausted, they're not even fully happy, or they just feel like they have to keep pushing and pushing to sustain it. And sis, it's not the right way. I've been there, I've done that, and never sustainable. And then we're back to our old identity. What we need to do at that point is, oh, I want to live in a 5 bedroom house. I want to buy a 5 bedroom house. So rather than thinking, what do I need to do? I just say to myself, firstly, okay, for me to live in that 5 bedroom house, I need to see myself as someone that lives there already. So I go into this vision of visioning the version of myself that is actually living in the 5 bedroom house. And when I look at the version of myself that's living in the 5 bedroom house and I compare it with the version of myself now, I say, oh, they're two different versions. That version is rich. That version thinks clearly. That version, doesn't struggle. That version is just different. That version achieved things effortlessly. And I look at my version and I say, oh, this version of myself is not going to get me there. So what do I need to do So rather than thinking of changing my behaviors, I say to myself, who do I need to be? For me to be in that person that lives in a five-bedroom house, I need to change to that version, because it's that version that will get me there. And this is where identity comes into place. And this is where, again, you change the self concept of who you truly are. So I would now adapt that version of myself that I already see living there, and then let go of this version of myself. Then I change my concept to match this new version of myself. Now, this new version of myself didn't get there through struggle and hard work. This new version of myself got there with ease, got there effortlessly. This new version of myself had a lot of opportunities flowing to her. This new version of myself, I work from that. So I start looking at, okay, what does this new version of myself do? And this is where you start thinking like, who do I need to be? What do I need to change on a daily basis to be this new version of myself? And since you start working with that new version of yourself, so we're still going after the five-bedroom home. So whenever I wake up in the morning, I ask myself, what will the new version of myself that lives in a five-bedroom home do? And I start thinking, okay, I would think of business ideas, I would think of promotions, I would think of opportunities that can easily flow to me. I would think about my energy, how I use my energy. Sis, you start working with this new version of yourself. Sis, let me tell you, you are not going to get the step-by-step guidance immediately all at once. The route is not going to be laid down to you all at once. It doesn't happen like that. You will get the step-by-step guidance that you need on a daily basis. It's just like if you put in your sat nav that you're going to wherever you're going to. So you're going to another town. The sat nav will not just give you all the directions in one go and say turn left, turn right, turn left, turn right, turn left, turn right, turn left. No, the sat nav is not going to do that. The sat nav is going to give you the first step that you need to work in that direction, and it's going to say, okay, go straight. And that is how God works. That is how direction works. That is how working in the new version of yourself works. You are going to be getting step by step guidance on a daily basis. And you have to have that faith and trust and work with that step by step guidance until you get to your goal. And that step by step guidance is not going to be a straight line. It's not going to be the way you've planned or thought about it. It is going to be different because God works in miraculous ways, and God's ways are different to our ways. So it says you have to trust and take that step every day with a new version of yourself to reaching your goals. All right, my queens, I am going to end it here, and I hope you've been able to realize that for you to keep achieving your goals throughout this year, for you to transform your body inside and out and work with your spirit, you need to upgrade your identity and change the self-concept of who you truly are. And don't forget to download the identity framework that helps you set the standards and help you reset your identity. And if you've not seen my previous video on how to reset your energy, although that has to do with nutrition, but you can also apply that to your lifestyle and goals, please check it out just here. All right, my queens, have a lovely day, and I shall see you in our next session.